find such information. They only found an information that the son of Ivan the Terrible had died, the date, and his age. And nothing else. No comments. And in different chronicles. Independent people. Not depending on the Tsar. We only now can guess what really happened before. But they exist. We have in one of the art galleries the picture where Ivan the Terrible just killed his son. He is hugging the dead body of his son, and his crazy eyes, because he understood what he had done. With this very picture, two stories also are connected. I tell you that some people they say that it's untruth, and the artist who painted Mr. Repin, his picture was attacked right in the gallery. One crazy man entered inside the gallery and stabbed the picture several times. But the artist was still alive, and he could refurbish, reconstruct, and a little bit repaint the picture. Why I'm telling two stories? 1 month and a half, probably 2 months ago, this picture once again was attacked in the gallery. Not with a knife, but a man entered. He was watching this picture, and always in the museum, you know, there are some poles with the chains, or that protecting, just marking the border in front, yes? And he had taken one of the poles and started, yes, to hit the picture, and the picture was damaged. As it turned out, of course, he has some mental problems, but it was his goal, as he told, to enter inside the gallery and to destroy the picture, because there was untruth, according to his state of mind. So you see, not only once, but twice already, this picture was attacked. Very interesting. When the son was killed, or he had died, there was another son of Ivan the Terrible, Fyodor. He was rather weak in health and weak in mind. His wife, Irina Godunova, had a brother, Boris Godunov. And when Fyodor had the direct ruler of the country, he had died, Boris and Irina, they went to one of the monasteries, and the boyars, the noble people, were coming and asking him, Boris Godunov, to be the Tsar. Twice he told no. The third time he accepted. And he was one of the Tsars who had absolutely no blood of the Tsars. Maybe you've heard about such an opera that is called Boris Godunov, if you're a fan, opera fans. But Ivan the Terrible, he was not married only once. He was married 6 or 7 times. Why I'm telling 6 or 7? Because nobody knows if the last marriage was officially registered or not. Yes. And he had several kids. One of his ladies' children was Dmitri. He was a small boy that suffered because of the epilepsy. when Boris Godunov was about to receive the power, Dmitry, the son of Ivan the Terrible, he was sent to one of the cities, not really away from Moscow, but in a distance. And in that period of time, there was a popular game that the kids were tossing the knives right inside the ground. And could you imagine that right inside, during the game, the child had an attack of epilepsy, and he stabbed himself several times on a knife. Yes, you are smiling. My version that he was killed intentionally. Maybe I'm wrong, and it was just an accident. But such is the history of Russia, full of mysteries. And to the right now you can see the beautiful boulevard ring. Yes, it's the fountain, the light. And if you turn more to the right, you will see the sign of McDonald's. Why I'm pointing to McDonald's? Because it was the first McDonald's in the USSR and afterwards in Russia. I remember my childhood, the 90s, and here was a long line of people who were eager to enter and to try this unusual food. Yes. In the to the left, behind the trees, we can see small mansions, and this pink mansion is one of the most prestigious restaurants that is called Cafe Pushkin. Cafe, it's only a name, but the prices there are according to the most expensive restaurant. Charles Aznavour has a song in French that he hired a Moscow guide, Natalie, and Natalie suggested him to go inside that cafe to drink hot chocolate. I recommend you to listen this beautiful song, and when you will get back home, it will give you good nostalgia about your trip to Moscow. Yes, and this boulevard is the eldest boulevard and one of the most beloved by Alexander Pushkin. Remember Russian Shakespeare I told you about? He's really popular in our country. Can you see this golden structure in the fountain? There is a small statue of Pushkin and his wife Natalia Goncharova, because behind that fountain there is a huge cathedral of the Great Ascension where they got married. Yes, we are going to see it in a few seconds. This one, the yellow hen. Do you know that actually we can have two marriages? So first we are going to the registry office to receive the official marriage certificate, and if you are a religious person, you can go with this certificate and have the ceremony, a religious ceremony, in Cathedral of Russian Orthodox Church, or maybe in the mosque or in synagogue. According to our constitution, we have a freedom of religious choice nowadays. In the communist time, we were atheists. Atheists were people who are not supposed to believe in God, because God you cannot see, you are feeling Him. And the idea of the communism that you have to believe in something that you can see or in something that you can do. What had happened with the churches during the communist time? Some of the churches, they were destroyed. Some of the churches, they were used as museums, libraries, concert halls, vegetable storages. And now we're coming to one of the biggest cathedrals of Russian Orthodox Church. We're going to see the newly built version of the cathedral. The original version of the cathedral was blown up in the 30s. Remember my words that all Russian churches, cathedrals, is like thanksgiving to God that we survived in this or that battle or war. And the Cathedral of Christ the Savior is thanksgiving to God after the war with Napoleon. And the first version of the cathedral was built in the 19th century. The legend tells that the Mother Superior of the nunnery that was originally in that spot cursed future structure of the cathedral because they made her nunnery to move in another place. And probably her curse really is taking place because no structure is there more than 70 years. So they created the cathedral. Why they had blown it up in the communist time? You're going to see that the cathedral is not far away from the Kremlin, and the Kremlin is power. If the religion is not existing, why to have such a big symbol of religion nearby the Kremlin? So in the 30s they had blown up the cathedral, and in YouTube you can find some movies. We already can see this cathedral. Look how huge it is. This version of the cathedral was finished in millennium 2000, and when it was recently opened, I remember my family and I, we entered inside, and I had no feeling that I'm inside the church, because the church is the house of God. You need to pray inside to feel. And I was feeling as if I'm in some museum. And only now, after 18 years old,